I just wanted to quickly record this. There is no... Can I quit the game? Quit. Quit game. Quit game. Alt F4 it is. I think it's time for me to talk about Men of War. I've played every single Men of War and I own all the rest. I know that sentence makes no sense, but some are just unplayable at this point. From the day that it started of Soldiers of Heroes of World War II back in 2004, all the way up to, well, Gates of Hell, and now Men of War 2, I just want to give an opinion on this game that has just released, because it is one of the most baffling titles I've ever seen, and since I'm one of the few that haven't been sponsored by Men of War, I think I can actually give a decent opinion on it. But before we get my complete thoughts on the game, I wanted to respond to Rimmy Down Under's video, because it was a great video, but I'm not entirely sure how fair all of it, since it wasn't necessarily a scripted video, more just an initial reactions to gameplay. But I agree with a lot of things, and I think I disagree with some of them. The other reason is because everybody is asking me, is it as bad as Rimmy says? His video seems to be the anchor point of what people's opinion is on this game. So I thought I'd go through it a little bit just before I get into my thoughts.
Look, it's an always online game. You have to connect to a server to play the tutorial, to play campaigns, to play skirmish missions.
The game is always online, and it is incredibly infuriating. Even when you're playing single-player missions, historical missions, campaign, whatever, you have to connect to a server, which is genuinely baffling as a decision because it hurts the gameplay so much. Loading feels like it takes ages even going into single-player missions, and you even lag going into these single-player missions. And I think Rimmy mentioned in the video that actually it's probably not a decision. It's probably just because this used to be Men of War Arena and they had to make it into a full game because nobody wanted to play Men of War Arena. So this is what we've ended up with, an always online, single player, mostly, game. The UI is awful. I do agree with that. Basic things, for the life of me, I have no idea how to access. For example, repairing a tank is really hard to work out how to do within this game. It took me so long to work out which button, where it is, because one, that button is so far away from the other tank commands, and two, it only shows up if your tank is actually injured, which is so confusing. Once again, a baffling decision. I don't know why this UI was changed so much, because they used the same UI from Faces of War in 2006 all the way up to Assault Squad 2 in 2014. Yet they've seemed to just all of a sudden go a completely different direction, and it's awful. It doesn't work. Why use something different when what we had before was fantastic?
Men of War Assault Squad, Men of War Assault Squad 2, which are both of, I think, hands down, the most popular versions of the game. But these are because they're mostly best for multiplayer.
I think if I delve into Rimmy's comments here about Assault Squad 2 being mostly popular because of its multiplayer, I don't know if that's entirely fair. I definitely think it's a factor. It was the competitive scene that was fantastic, but I think that's really what we're looking at, the competitive scene, because of the gameplay of Assault Squad 2. It focused on realism. It focused on more gritty gameplay styles. People had real worth to them within this game. Not like you cry every time someone dies, but it actually feels like you've lost a troop. In Men of War 2, everything, because of how arcadey it is, feels like it is worth nothing. You'll be charging troops into battle and they'll get mown down time and time again, as if it's nothing. It is one of the most infuriating aspects of the game. Like, all of these things are just little pawns on the battlefield, rather than actual soldiers that you can position in windows, all have individual names and individual areas that they can access, individual weapons and skills, and of course, can be upgraded. You know, in Assault Squad 2, I love the fact that if a guy got more kills, he'd get better throughout that mission because he'd get little chevrons as he'd be promoted. It was just some touches like that that made that game more and more realistic. Not to mention its modding scene. Assault Squad 2 had a fantastic modding scene, especially things like Rob's realism. They did huge things for that player base, and I think that's the thing that is missing in Men of War 2. It is just completely lost what made Men of War great. To be fair to Rimmy, most of his review was on the multiplayer though, as he was playing with someone else, so I'm going to be focusing on the single player on my opinions. Also because this was my multiplayer experience. I don't want to wait for so long. Oh, I can't. The thing is, the estimated waiting time has been 10 minutes every time I've tried to play multiplayer, and it's never changed. 3 minutes. 4 minutes. Well, this is loading. I'm going to go on Steam charts. Steam DB. You won't be able to see this because I can't be bothered to switch it to the desktop record. It's only got 1,000 people playing it. An all-time peak of 3,000. And 7 minutes. Yes. There we go. We hit the 10 minutes. What's even the point? There's a mention within the video of how much he likes the dynamic trench system. I'm going to say it. I hate it. Trenches are awful within this game. The ones that are pre-placed in missions, and especially the ones that you build. By the way, when you're building them, the troop will start digging and then they'll just plop into the trench. It looks hilarious. It's I don't understand it at all. There is no sort of attention to detail being put in here. It looks horrible. It looks arcadey, and trenches are worthless. They don't work properly. If you sit men in them, they just get slaughtered. Half of them won't shoot out of it because they'll just be sitting in there at parapets that they can't end up actually pointing their gun over. They'll also just be sitting in a barrel. They get destroyed and mown down so fast. Repositioning men also within trenches is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Troops will hop out of the trench just to move along that same trench. Watch this shit. Why do they run on top? This has been a thing in every fucking Men of War game ever. They run on top of trenches to get to trenches. Just run through the trenches. Why does the pathfinding not just make them go through trenches? It's very annoying. Look at that. Like, I just don't understand it. Like, I'm moving along the trench. This guy's just popped his fucking head out the trench. And look at him. He's dead because of it. He's dead. It is a cool idea, and I agree with that, but it's executed so poorly, there is no reason why you'd ever use it. Okay, so I've been over Rimmy's video. I've been over what I thought about his opinions. I think he's mostly right on, especially the multiplayer. But I wanted to delve more into the single player and a bit more in depth of a review of how these missions are set out, because most people won't be playing the multiplayer because the player base is so weak at this point in time. So, in a nutshell, what do I think of the game? Come on, lad, I got to get to the front line. Yeah, but they're so fucking fast. I can't keep up with them. Yeah, oh, come on, mate. We've got to put our back into it. Come on, lad. We might look exactly the same here. Everybody's face models are exactly identical. What the fuck is... Look, your faces are all identical. They just did... Quick, before they get out. Before they get out, throw dynamite at it. Yes! Fuck you! There's dynamite right on the... Boom! I hate how hard it is to find people in this. I can't see where my guys are like 90% of the time. No, I want you to drive through the bush. Oh, you're telling me you can't. See, look, why would you go that way to the pillbox? Why wouldn't you go around the trench? It doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't know what's wrong. Like, why can't we go up this hill? It's not that steep. Like, you can go up way steeper hills in multiplayer. It's just dumb for the campaign. It's really annoying me. Look at that. I want them to go there, and they're going around the whole thing because of this fucking bush. This is awful. You know what? I was even working on a video, like, why is Men of War better than people say? Because there are parts I fucking love, and I love Men of War, but this is... What is this? Who thought this was a good idea? It's supposed to be a Men of War game where you're supposed to be able to put troops where you want, approach any situation the way you want, and it is so linear that it makes it pointless. I don't think I've despised a game as much as I despise this. I don't think I've despised the way that this was released more than I've just... it just fucking pisses me off, man. What's the point? You know, I went into this video with a positive mindset. I really wanted to like this game. I adore Men of War. Assault Squad 2 is in my top 5 games of all time, and I play it so much. And I wanted to like Men of War 2. It is made by Best Way, after all, the people that started this franchise. But there has never been a game that I wanted to love so badly that made me so angry, that I hated with such a passion, that I despised the decisions made by the developers so much that I just had to make a video. And I wasn't going to make a video. It was going to be on the second channel, and that's all it was. But I just got so pissed off when trying to just play through and record this game that I just thought I had to talk about it. First of all, let's talk about the AI. It is stupid. The AI will just run into battle. They will run headlong into the enemy machine guns time after time. It is useless. Not only that, I hate the fact that they've changed the colors within the game on the minimap. The fact that you are now playing as green troops when all the AI are blue troops. That has completely been switched from the previous game, and it is so goddamn confusing. I know that's a nitpick, but it has confused me so many times. Kill him. Shoot him. How? How does that even work? How does one guy spray down 4 guys because you don't even start to shoot? Oh, you've been given the orders to go inside the house, so you just ignore every other human being in the world until you get inside that house. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Hold on, so anti-tank grenades not blow up the side of buildings anymore. What's the point of them? How does so many get so fucked up by so little? I don't get it. Also, that is a Winston Churchill quote. Like, how am I supposed to find a man hidden in that bush? Like, I'm not Spider-Man here. I don't have... I want to put you there. I want it... Like, what is this? What are you doing? What? Just, it pisses me off looking at this. It pisses me off that this is Men of War. Not only that, but trying to find your men on the map is almost impossible. They'll be hiding in buildings, they'll be hiding in bushes and trenches, and unless you're zooming right in there, you can't see because there's no indication which are your troops and which are the AI troops unless you hover over each individual guy, and it is so goddamn annoying. The pathfinding is awful. As I mentioned, people in trenches, they'll just run out of trenches if they need to get to a different position. Tanks will just run over it. Actually, this is the best demonstration of the pathfinding within this game.
Division's commander will have my head for such capriciousness. My friend, no one will...
Pathfinding in a nutshell. Turn around, you nut. It is like some circus, the way that tanks just cannot seem to face the right direction. This has just plagued Men of War for so long. It is awful. It has always been awful. And I don't understand why even now in 2024, we can't have troops that actually go where you order them to. They won't shoot at the closest people. They will just randomly spray off into the distance, even at a person that they clearly cannot hit, while someone is destroying them in the anus with an MG42. It is just incredibly annoying. And you know what? I don't mind games that I dislike. I don't mind games that just aren't for me. But what I hate are games that are made for me and piss me off. A game shouldn't make you angry because of the design decisions within it. So you have your campaign missions. There is only 3 factions, by the way: Soviets, Germans, and the US. The British are nowhere to be seen. The Japanese are nowhere to be seen. Fantastic work, guys. I'm glad you're putting in less content than a game that is 10 years older than you. Fantastic work there once again. Missions there are quite a lot of them, but all of them are pretty awful. There are a few fun ones, and I actually did start to have a little bit of fun at some point, but unfortunately they made them so hard, but not because of the actual mission difficulty, but because the enemy AI can seem to snipe you out of nowhere, and your guys just get stuck on everything because of the pathfinding being so awful. Then, as I mentioned, the AI allies that you have will just run into the enemy and they won't have any regard for cover, and you will just get mown down. I failed more missions in this than I've ever failed before, and maybe that's just because I'm awful, and Get Good might be a good example here. However, I'm going to put it down to the awful AI because I want to keep some of my dignity. There are also historical missions that are pretty much just the campaign missions, and yeah, a lot of the clips you've seen of him and me getting angry are within one mission in particular, and that's the beach landings at Normandy. Do you know what? Let's just head into that. Okay, so we're doing a bit of D-Day. Let's go. Okay, we need to create some pieces. Oh, look at amphibious tank. Yes. Okay, that is awesome. That is really cool. Do you know what? As far as Men of War missions go, this is actually pretty nice. Can you guys move so we can cut? Can we cut?
To glory! Uncle Sam!
Can I turn off these voices? I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. There's a gap. Oh my god, you can't go through. Fuck off. MGs in this game. MGs in this game are just fucked. These fences, man, they're like brick walls in this game. Well, no, they're not, because brick walls you can actually hop over. I hate how hard it is to find people in this. I can't see where my guys are like 90% of the time. Face that way. Oh my god. Face that way. Ah! I was trying to make a video on why I actually like this game, because there are parts that I did like. I like that last mission. This has shown the flaws of Men of War 2 in the most bullish way possible, and it makes me so angry. Whoa! Ammunition load explosion. What? Okay, that was one mission. That was one mission that annoyed me. Let's see. So what do I like about the game? Well, some of the sound effects are quite nice. That's about it. The game actually doesn't look better than Men of War Assault Squad 2, and definitely not better than Gates of Hell. I think those games just have much better art design. I love the gritty, muddy realism of it. It feels like metal when you're moving troops and tanks around. This game feels like Play-Doh. They've definitely gone the arcadey Company of Heroes route, which just isn't really worth it. I think you've completely lost the identity of what made Men of War great. Sure, if this was Men of War Arena, you could get away with that. Total War Arena was an incredibly arcadey version of Rome 2 Total War. Yet if they made that into a full game... Oh, wait, hold on. They did. It was Troy. It was awful. It was an arcadey mess. And that's the response that you get. Have people not learned that you can't just repurpose a game that was meant for something else? Because the results are gargantuanly stupid. Men of War 2 is one of the most infuriating games I've ever played, especially because I wanted to love it more than anybody. I adore this franchise, and I've been playing this franchise for most of the time that I've been playing games. And I cannot believe they messed it up this badly, especially because there are parts that I really enjoy in it. But the parts that I enjoy in it are just the fact that it's a Men of War game and I can control my little model troops around shooting people. Like, direct control is back. It's still usable. It's still fine. Things like that. Tanks, however, they are still fun to play with, but they just feel like paper mache. You know when you were playing Assault Squad 2 and you really had to focus on angling tanks? And if you had a heavy tank, you could sit it in a position for ages and you could listen to the rockets and the pings and the bullets just absolutely cascading off it. You'd hear a shell come in and it'd twang off into the distance, and it was so satisfying if you position your tank correctly. Well, in this game, any bullet just rips through any vehicle. It's just annoying. Tanks don't feel like they have power when they come into the battlefield. You can destroy them with an MG sometimes. It's just awful. It's an arcadey mess, and if I'm going to be honest, I don't really have much else to say about it. If you guys want to go and check out the fan response and everything around the reviews, go and check out my second channel, as I made a full video on that. Other than that, though, this is probably the last I'm going to be speaking about Men of War 2. I might play it some more, just in case my mind's changed, but it's going to take a lot. If there's more updates, who knows? I'm just so demoralized by this title. I don't know if you'd figured that out by now.